On the spot news media, we got the latest news. We don't care about the views, we just representing right. Put local news internationally every night. On the spot, wave that Jamaican flag from left to right. Let's get it right, y'all know the type. We ain't dealing with the hype, we make it take flight.
Yeah man, my viewers and subscribers, what a guan. A blessed and wonderful Tuesday morning to each and every person out there tuning into On The Spot News Media. Now, me peeps, I don't know how we do it over on this side each and every morning. We have to give thanks and praise to the Most High Creator for the preservation of life, because life is indeed the greatest. So in the morning, my peeps, I have a few stories to share with you, the regular members of Chan Public and also members of the diaspora. So please like the video, share the video, watch the entire vlog so you can get a full understanding and a better appreciation of everything we're going in Jamaica. So watch this now, my peeps. We're going to kick it off with some updates. But before we get into that, may I mention this. Now, to the regular members of Chan Public living in the diaspora in the state of Florida, please prepare yourself for another hurricane. Hurricane Milton has strengthened to a category 5. So you know say it go hit hard. So all Jamaicans living in Florida, if you're living in a flood-prone area or any low-lying area, please follow and listen to the authorities and evacuate before it is too late. I don't want to see any of my Jamaican people losing them 3 points in such a way because you're stubborn. Listen and move if you're going to be in the path of the hurricane. So anyway, back to local style. So as it relates to the updates, you remember the soldier and the 2 man them, where them catch with a strap in a them car? Yeah man. A bail application is to be made today for the Jamaica Defense Force soldier and the 2 other men who were charged following the seizure of an illegal firearm and ammunition in a motor vehicle in the parish of St. Elizabeth. The soldier has since been identified as Shevin Buchanan, and his co-accused, Shavai Williams and Dwayne Goldburn, are all facing charges of prohibited weapon and unauthorized possession of ammunition. So it is reported that they were traveling in a motor car along the YS Main Road in the parish of St. Elizabeth on the 29th of September when they were signaled to stop. The driver complied, and it is alleged that during the search of the vehicle, a Smith & Wesson pistol with a magazine containing 10 cartridges was found in the central console of the motor vehicle. The 3 men were arrested and transported to Black River Police Station, where they were all officially charged. So now we are going to kick it off with this morning's set of stories. I'm not one to normally bring on this channel accidents or anything of that sort, but this morning I think I really need to address how some of the road users uses the nation's streets, because 9 people end up lose them life in motor vehicle crashes this past weekend. The deceased include brothers who were riding on separate motorcycles and lose them 3 points right out of Spot Valley there, so in a St. James. The number of fatalities since January now stands at 288 when compared to that of last year, which was 319. But it is still 288 too much. Me is a man who drive all over Jamaica every day for conduct business here, there, and everywhere. And the type of driving when me see some of them young youth here put on the street, no normal. I wonder if you don't forget the old Jamaican saying we say, drive like lightning, you go crash like thunder. Yeah, man. The young youth, them literally are just some steerers. They are not drivers because many of them, you put them around a steering wheel with a stick shift, them cannot move that vehicle. So they are not drivers or some little hurry come up, steerers who, in the most part, just go give the examiner a piece of food, 130 or 140 grand, and get a license, and them just jump in at the streets and just lick down people here, there, and everywhere. Look at the two good Samaritans the other day, one of which is also an examiner, who stopped on Washington Boulevard for render some assistance to a motorist. And the two of them, him and them friend, end up lose them 3 points. A US student a drive careless by Washington Boulevard and take the life of the two men. So the young youth them really need to ease up because for some reason in a feed them head, them feel like say fast and careless driving is good driving. No, it's not. So now we're going to hear from the Vice President of the National Road Safety Council, that's Dr. Lucien Jones, who stated that the 288 loss of life compared to the 319 loss of life for last year is a 10% in decline. Nevertheless, he maintained that the carnage on the roads are troubling. Now listen.
This kind of carnage on the roads is troubling. 5 of those who died were motorcyclists. And so far, 95 motorcyclists have died on our roads. This is the number one problem we have on our roads. Young men who are dying because they are speeding and driving recklessly. Young men who are using alcohol and ganja while driving, based on good reports, or good research rather, from Dr. Kerry Fisher from the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. And we have a difficulty enforcing the helmet wearing law, which the police are trying their best to cope with. We have to get on top of this problem. We cannot allow so many of our young men to be dying on our roads. This is why we have such a big problem with road safety in Jamaica. This is our number one problem.
So we're going to saddle to the east, my peeps, right over there in the St. Thomas Police Division, where the St. Thomas CIB personnel are presently investigating the fatal knockings and clappings of a 23-year-old man in the parish on Sunday night. Now the deceased, presently on your screen, has since been identified as Jahiem, otherwise known as Jah in the streets. He's said to be a laborer from the Blacksmith Lane community in St. Thomas. Now, sometime around 8:45 p.m., it is said that Jah was at McLean Lane in Seaford, St. Thomas when explosions were heard. The police were summoned, and upon their arrival, Jah was found with what appeared to be some whole heap of carnop wounds all over the upper body and head. No motive has since been established for Jah's fatal knockings and clappings. The Morant Bay Criminal Investigation Branch is presently probing that fatal knockings and clappings. Now, anyone have any information surrounding the fatality of Jah, please alert the St. Thomas Police and give them the necessary information so them can put some sort of closure to that fatal knockings and clappings. Yeah, man. Now over there in the troubled, war-torn, crime-riddled St. Catherine North Police Division, in the community of Linstead, it has been rocked with yet again another fatality, this time by the use of a knife. Yeah, man. So the Linstead Police have arrested and charged a man in connection with the fatal knifing of a teenager that lost his life from some fatal knife wounds which he received in the town centre last night. The deceased teen has since been identified as 19-year-old Andrew Carey, said to be from a Cheesefield district address in Linstead, St. Catherine. Now reports indicate that sometime around 10:30 p.m. on October 6, Carey was among a group of 4 men who attacked another man inside the bus park. During the confrontation, the man was hit in the face and sustained bruises and other injuries. In that whole incident, the suspect allegedly knife up Kerry in the chest. Kerry was taken to the Linstead Hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. Now, following the incident, the suspect turned in himself to the police and was taken into custody under suspicion of his fatal knifing. Now, we are not for sure if the man who knife up the 19-year-old Andrew Carey is the said man where him and him friend them go beat up. But on the Spot News Media will most definitely be making some checks into that, because if I the same man where him and him friend them go attack and the man run a blade through him, boy, sad to say, him deserve every knife in where him get. Yeah, man. Self-defense in all its glory. Now, over there in the parish of Senton, trust me, Senton used to be one of the most peaceful parishes. The parish that I favor the most. Portland runs second because of the panoramic view that I can get from the parish there. Senton is one of the most beautiful parishes in Jamaica. Have some of the best attractions. Now, the people of Senton just make the old dirty corner boy them take over them parish slowly but surely. Now, another knifing go on in a Senton, and a man is being sought in connection with that fatal knifing in Brownstown Senton on Sunday. Now, the man was caught and has been charged for the fatal knifing. Now, the man in question, Rodar Harris, 34 years old, of Brownstown. Him come from around a Goshen side there, in a Brownstown. He was charged on Thursday with the fatal knifing of a 20-year-old mechanic known as Juan Campbell. Now, Mr. Harris, accompanied by his attorney, Aswes Senior Smith, reported to the police on Tuesday. So it is reported that Campbell, that is the mechanic, the 20-year-old mechanic, was knifed up during an altercation at a club early Sunday morning. He was pronounced you know what at the Sentence Bay Regional Hospital thereafter. So the police them launch him investigation, arrest and charge him. Now, I could hear how it go in the court, because nobody not really want to say what really transpired in the club the Sunday before the fatal knifing. What really caused the altercation between both men. But anyway, make we move on. And still in the parish of Senton, a Senton couple has been charged after an illegal gun was found in their home. Now, the Senton couple was arrested and charged with several offenses following the seizure of the firearm in their Bel Air housing scheme home in Runaway Bay, Senton on Sunday. So they have been identified as 46-year-old, a woodwork man known as Omar Henry, otherwise known as Smokey or Smokey Joe in the streets. And there's a 34-year-old shopkeeper, Stacey and Allen, otherwise called Chichi, both have a Bel Air housing scheme address. Now, they were charged with possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and possession of ganja, and also dealing in the illicit drug, ganja. The police stated that sometime between 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. on Sunday, the couple's home was searched as a part of a joint police military operation. During the search, a Smith & Wesson 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 3 cartridges was found, along with approximately 8 pounds of the illicit drug. The couple was taken into custody and subsequently charged for the offences named earlier. Boy, may I tell you, the thing rough. Now we are going to go through the southern section of Senton and land in the neighbouring parish of Manchester. Now, finally, the man in charge of Manchester basically say, boy, things are get out of hand. And him have to not just talk, but prove to the people of Manchester that him willing to stem the crime problem, the crime infestation of the parish right now. So him decide say him a put some more boots on the ground and get the place into order. So the Manchester police, in fact the head of the Manchester police, vowed that Mandeville will never again see the kind of violence that occurred last week Friday when gunmen took the life of 2 people near the market. That is what Deputy Superintendent of Police Kerry Duncan, the man in charge of the Manchester Police Division, stated. Now the mid-morning attack also injured 5 people. So it's another mass knockings and clappings that. So the Deputy Superintendent, that's Kerry Duncan, the head of the Manchester Police Division, and a team of lawmen toured the Manchester capital on Monday morning in a move they have dubbed Operation Restore. DSP Duncan says his team is following strong leads in the incident and will be executing tighter security measures in several communities. Now we're going to hear from the DSP, Kerry Duncan, the man in charge of the Manchester Police Division, as he now weighs in on the present crime problem the Manchester Police Division is presently facing. Now listen.
We realize that persons are a little bit apprehensive as to what is happening. So we have decided as a team to come out to restore public confidence and public order within the public spaces in Manchester. And so this morning, this operation that you're seeing, we have dubbed it as Operation Restore. And as I said before, it's to restore the public order and public confidence of the persons within the space. So last week, Friday, we had a very unfortunate incident within this town centre. Very unfortunate, I might add. And we want to let them know that we are here with them and for them. And I want to commit to them that what they saw last week, Friday, will never happen again in this township. We're following some very strong leads in that incident last week. We understand that we are also looking at persons from our neighboring parishes, and we hope to make a breakthrough very, very soon. I'm just going to ask the persons within this parish to just bear with us a little bit. Yes, we have some tighter security measures within the space, in that we are looking at some areas, particular areas. We are doing some shutdowns, because as we understand it, persons are looking at places where people gather to exact revenge killings. So we are looking at shutting down some areas. For the time being, for the majority of this parish, we won't be having any events being permitted in certain areas.
Well, you hear it from the horse's mouth, no pun intended. The man in charge of the Manchester Police Division clearly stated in his own words that the township of Manchester will never see that type of violence being perpetrated against the regular members of Jan Public ever again. As the songwriter clearly stated, but me I go alter it somewhat. Full of big chat. I hope you can defend that. Yeah, man. So anyway, my peeps, remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned to On The Spot News Media as I continue to bring you fresh news and updates in subsequent newscast. On The Spot News Media. Yeah, man.